Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Folks, welcome in to the Trainwreck Playoff Happy Hour. We're here for a special episode of Degenerate Danger Zone, bringing you our best bets of the night for the playoffs. Here we got NHL and the NBA again with the play-in. And Stevie, we'll get to you first, but we got Slick L joining myself here, Ty B. Steve, get the baseball picks out of the way so we can focus on the playoffs yet again.
Just one baseball play. It's the easiest baseball play. Just blindly take it. Cardinals -1.5. It's at -120 against the Pirates. Cardinals 4-0 against the Pirates this year. And guess what? It's Jack Flaherty Day. Cardinals 8-0 in games Jack Flaherty has started. 8-0 covering. They've outscored their opponents 68-21. This is as free as it's going to get for baseball. Just take the run line at -1.5. Let's get to the playoffs.
No, absolutely. Let's get on to the playoffs. You got 4 games here in the NHL. You got Capitals, Bruins, Predators, Hurricanes, Jets, Oilers, and Blues, Avalanche. And then 2 play-in games there in the NBA between the Spurs and the Grizzlies starting at 7:40. And then you have the Warriors, Lakers, nightcap between the 7 and 8 seeds there. Slick, let's get started here in the NBA because this is one of the most exciting slates you can have to start out the playoffs. You get Steph Curry and the Warriors versus LeBron and Anthony Davis in a big one. Lakers 5.5-point favorites. And then you get Ja Morant, the young superstar, up against Popovich and the Spurs. Spurs getting 4 points, one of the best teams against the spread this season. Slick, how are you seeing these NBA lines right now?
Man, this Spurs-Grizzlies game I'm looking forward to. I think I was saying this about the Pacers-Hornets game. As a fan, I really like this game. As a bettor, not so much. The line may be a little deceiving, -4. I don't know if the Grizzlies are capable of -4. I don't even know if they'll win this. I think it's a close game. I think Spurs +4 is a safe bet. And like I was saying, with that same game I just referenced, experience might be a factor here as well. I know Steve and I were touching on that pre-show. And one of the best coaches of all time, as Steve said as well, I don't know. I'm going to be really interested to see how the Grizzlies play in this one. What do you think, Steve? How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of piggybacking what you did last night with the experience card here. And we got another young team with a lot of great players, Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. But They're going up against, in my mind, probably one of the greatest coaches of all time in the NBA, Greg Popovich. And I just think in this single game, elimination type of deal, he's going to have the Spurs ready. And it's the Spurs, what I love about them, they just don't turn the ball over, right? They average the fewest turnovers in the league, and that's what the Grizzlies kind of rely on. First in fast break points, third in points off turnovers. I think Popovich is going to really have this play like a playoff game where the Spurs are just going to, have every possession matter. They're not going to make mistakes. And against a young, inexperienced team like the Grizzlies, I like getting the 4 points with the Spurs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Argue with the points there in that one. The Spurs, 4 straight defeats with back-to-back losses there to the Suns, kind of faltered into this one here. It was like, maybe we don't even want to be in the play-in at all. But I think it's going to be an absolute different team when we're seeing this one here. Let's get DeMar DeRozan going. Like you said, you can see some veterans out there, some guys who've played in the playoffs, some guys who know what they're doing in these situations. So you're going to see them definitely play up. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup.
And that rubs off on these young guys too, like Lonnie Walker. He's a great player, and he's playing with a bunch of veterans. That's only going to help those guys. So we'll see. I'm excited.
Yeah, so that's just what I think it's going to be, a nice close game.
Yeah.
I think you got to take the Spurs in that, just trusting Popovich and what the Spurs have done pretty much all year. Great teams cover, and you know that. Shout out Meerkat, always dropping that one on us. But that other game of the night, I mean, I don't know if the NBA could have written this any better if they wanted some actual intrigue in the play-in games. You have the Warriors, Lakers, 4.5, 5.5 spread. It's kind of in between there. I mean, I don't see a world where LeBron loses this one.
Right.
Yeah.
But can Steph shoot
I don't know.
this close?
That's kind of how I'm feeling. I think the Lakers have the advantage with the matchup just because of the size with Anthony Davis and Andre Drummond down low. That's really tough. But Curry is a guy you never want to count out, and he's kind of shown this year he has carried this Warriors team. That's been really, Draymond Green and Wiggins, maybe a little bit of Oubre. That's basically been it. But Steph Curry, he's played like an MVP all year
Is he your MVP?
I think you got to give it to Jokic. I personally think what Curry's done has been more valuable. But the big thing here is the Warriors, they're in the playoff game. The Nuggets are kind of safely in the playoffs. And Jokic has really been dominant all year long. But in the last, month and a half, it's like no one's been better than Curry right now. It's just so hard in this situation to count out LeBron and count out kind of the size the Lakers have down low. I don't like laying 6 though. It's at 5.5, 6 points. I'm really torn on this game. Where do you like it, Slick?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I was just about to say, if Steph Curry leads this team to a victory, MVP unanimous. It has to be. It has to be.
It's after the season, so you can't. It's still Jokic.
Okay. What? No, it's a play-in game. It's not a play-off game. But, okay, a bet I got looking at, I don't know. I was looking at Curry for points because obviously it's going to be up there, right, that line. 36.5, I think that's at.
Yeah.
But kind of parlay fodder, minus 155, over 5.5 threes. I mean, Curry usually does that by halftime as far as I'm concerned. So, I don't know. I think he is going to have a big game. I do like in terms of points also a bit of a more fair line. Andrew Wiggins over 20.5. That's at plus 102. He's got to play well. I mean, when he steps up, that's when Warriors play their best basketball, and those young guards like Jordan Poole, the orange-haired fellow. I can't think of his name, but
Mannion?
Yeah. And Oubre's got to show out too. I don't know. I don't know if they can get it done. I like them plus 5.5 though. How do you see it, Ty?
So, I mean, this is an interesting one because you have the Lakers who play actually pretty decent team defense. That's one of the reasons they didn't fall further in the standings than they did. Right. But when you look at Steph Curry, he's kind of an anomaly to team defense. Like the man can shoot from half court. Like I don't know what you can do for that. So like if he's hot and on fire, there's nothing you can do to stop him. Can this team offensively show enough chemistry? Can they knock all that rust off? They have not played together very much over the past few months at all. You had, LeBron. A lot of people said maybe nursed the injury longer than he needed and could have gotten out there to, get some reps with the full squad. So for this one, I think it's going to be a lot closer than LeBron expects it to be.
Yeah, like for sure. And I was just about to say, didn't LeBron roll his ankle the other night or something?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Media's making a big deal about that. I think we're gonna go out and just see the same old Bron. I don't think the injury is gonna play a role. That there is no injury. He missed what he had to do. He recovered how he needed to, took care of his body, and he's back. I can't see him not being his full self in this game, and that's why I don't see, as much as I would love to see the Warriors win. I think they'll cover, but LeBron will be LeBron at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think the Lakers are going to be able to figure it out. I think, LeBron's going to do whatever he has to do at the end of the game. It's going to be him, bullying through the paint, getting to the line probably.
Feeding Davis.
Sealing the W. And, yeah, you can't count out Anthony Davis. It's going to be tough to, to keep him off the stat sheet as well because he is probably, behind Jokic and Embiid, probably the third best center in the league. And in pretty much any other generation, he's probably the top player, at the center position. When you just look at, the skills that he possesses and the difference in, shooting and just all around skills that big men possess nowadays. And he can do it all for them. And he plays great defensively. He's going to be able to stop, any cutters. getting into the lane for the Warriors. So, I mean, Steph's going to have to do with the three ball. We already know that. What can Draymond do? Draymond's great at finding guys to dish off to, but if Anthony Davis is denying those opportunities, that's where the Lakers maybe can, keep the Warriors down enough. But I think I'm with you there. I don't think they cover. I think the play has to be getting the Warriors. If you can still get them over 5, for sure, 5.5, definitely take that. And Lakers money line parlay fodder. I think that's the move, Steve.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning to. I think it's a close game. Anthony Davis, as you say, I think he poses the biggest mismatch for the Warriors. I think that's going to be,
100%.
the toughest guy to match up with. So if Anthony Davis has a dominant day, it could get ugly, but I'm banking on Curry, keeping him in it. He's been doing it for the past 2 months. He's showing no signs of slowing down. I'm leaning towards, getting the 5.5 as well.
Absolutely. And let's move on here. We got 4 NHL playoff games. I alluded to them earlier. Caps Bruins starting it off here, 6:38 puck drop. Washington slight underdogs in this one, 1-1 in that series. But the first game I'm really looking at is this Winnipeg Jets Edmonton Oilers game. I think you got to go with the Oilers money line, perfect parlay fodder if you don't want to lay the juice, minus 165. They were 7-2 against the Winnipeg Jets this season, and Connor McDavid put up 2.44 points per game in those games against them. He is absolutely unbelievable and had the Jets number all season long. I even like the puck line in this one, minus 1.5, get some plus 163 value. And, I think this is going to be a nice, pretty easy series for Connor McDavid's, first real trip here to the playoffs. We finally get it. Sorry, Jack Eichel. But we're getting McDavid in the playoffs, and that's what everyone loves to see. Steve, I know you're on this game as well.
Yeah, I'm going a little different angle. I'm just taking the over in this game. You got 2 high-scoring teams, Winnipeg and Edmonton, 9th and 12th in scoring in the NHL. And when they played each other in the 9 times this year, it's an average of 6.2 goals a game. The over right now is 5.5. It's at minus 120, I believe. And I just like the over. You got, like you said, McDavid, Edmonton. It's a kind of a young, inexperienced team. Maybe they won't have the defense of the first game, but there's no denying McDavid's going to score in any opportunity you give him, any situation. So I like over 5.5 in this one. What about you, Slick?
Yeah, I'm with you tonight, Steve. Actually, I'm looking at total goals as well. I like the over in the Caps Bruins game. I was going to say it on the last show the last time they played. For some reason, said Caps money line and was calling Ty B blasphemous for taking the Bruins. But anyway, I think 5.5 again. It's very reasonable. These guys, both teams, very fast-paced offense and a lot of skill amongst the offense as well. And I think another 3-3 game we could see, maybe OT. Who knows? But that would cover that 5.5. Maybe even the over in the Canes game. They put up 5 by themselves last game. I'm looking at the overs tonight, boys. What about you, Tybee?
I mean, I love hearing overs because there's nothing more than rooting for goals and excitement. Like, why would
Exactly.
unders, especially in the NHL playoffs?
Life's too short to bet the under.
Yes, as we all know. But I think the Hurricanes are going to get another win in that one.
Yeah.
Throw that in a parlay with the Oilers. I think that's a good play. You can get yourself some plus 120 value, 126 value if you're at the creek at this very juncture. But it's going to be interesting. We had the dart on the Blues today. The Blues, brought it to the Avalanche early, were able to withstand a lot of chances. Saw Jordan Binnington stand on top of his head. I don't think he's going to be able to continue that, but the dart believes it. I just don't know how likely that is to be true. I think, the Avalanche are huge favorites, and there's almost no value to be had, taking a side on that one because even the puck line is minus 132. So you're looking at total. Do the Avs, score a bunch? You could probably hit the over. It's just, I don't know. It's like we're gonna see all over. I would love it. Steve, any other plays today?
Well, I mean, going to the Avs game, the good news is the dart took the Blues plus 1.5, so
That's
the
what I
Avs can
thought,
still
yeah.
win for Alan Maniac, which we love. And I'm taking the Avs, and I'm just putting them with the Hurricanes. I watched both those games. Those were two dominant performances. The Hurricanes outshot Nashville, I believe it was 38-24. The Avalanche had 50 shots on Binghamton. He's not going to stand on his head like he did last time. I like both to win. I think it's pretty easy. It's not the best, odds for a parlay. It's -117, but you're getting the Hurricanes, you're getting the Avalanche together, just money line, just to win. Close to even odds. That's my final play for today.
Absolutely. Love to hear it, Steve. Shout out to Steve and Slick for joining me here on the Trainwreck Playoff Happy Hour, Degenerate Danger Zone edition. We're going to be back throughout the week here in the 6 p.m. time slot, giving you our best bets of the night throughout the playoffs. And we're going to figure it out, on the weekends because some noon games and whatnot. But make sure you guys follow us over at Degenerate Zone so you can check out the darts picks and everything else we got going on over there, because it's going to be a Slick Saturday as well. You're going to make sure you need to see that video for all of his picks. And we're going to be, lighting things up here with Dwayne coming up. So again, for Steve, Slickel, myself, Tybee, shout out for everyone tuning in, getting that free money. Good night now.
Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Dwayne, what is going on, bud? We got 4 big playoff games here. We got Capitals, Bruins kicking it off. What are your thoughts on that one? 1-1 in that series. 2 playoff games, or 2 overtime games to start that series off.
It's been a lot of fun. I hate the Bruins, put it that way. I hate the Bruins for sure. But it really did suck to see.
You didn't like the dick punch?
No. I'm so indifferent about that because, you hate Brad Marchand, but you see who he did it to. It's like, am I really that mad? It's like a dick punching a dick. I don't know. I'm indifferent on that one. That's a tough call for me. But so far, man, this first round has been, has not disappointed at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing shades. I know I saw Billy Jaffe from the Bruins tweet out that they're expecting Ilya Samsonov to be in net tonight, which, it's not like Craig Anderson was playing badly. I don't think that was their issue in game 2, but that should give the Capitals a boost. I think teams do play different in front of certain goaltenders. Maybe Ottawa. Why would I say Ottawa? Maybe Washington would play a little bit more loose offensively. Maybe more run and gun in front of a goaltender, like Samsonov that maybe they trust and they're a little bit more familiar with. We'll see.
No, absolutely. And Bruins big favorites in this one. Going back home to the Garden, -195. Kind of surprising there. But I guess, with the Washington goaltender situation, it makes sense. But it's going to be very, very fun in that game. Cannot wait to see what happens in that one. And then we got the 8 o'clock game, Predators, Hurricanes. Hurricanes, again, big favorites. Predators were able to keep that game close, but the Hurricanes late in that one, able to get a big win. I think you saw why they're such a dangerous team. They get up and down the ice, and they trap you. They smother you. They don't let you get opportunities, and they're just going to continue to get chance after chance after chance, Dwayne.
Yeah, I think, I was listening to you guys on DDZ beforehand. A lot of you guys were taking the over. I definitely have to agree in this one. 2 very high-scoring teams. I would expect a really fun hockey game tonight from both teams. I know we got Jake, Mike could finally chime in here, getting home from work. Looking dapper for sure. Doesn't look exhausted or tired at all. So maybe Jake, let's get your thoughts on this. What do you think of that series?
I'm sorry guys that I just hopped in here. I didn't even mean to add myself into the stream. So what are we going into here? And I can drop this in. What is this? Which series are we talking here?
Was it the Hurricanes and the
Hurricanes?
Yeah.
The Hurricanes. This series is already a wrap, bro. Like I'm not. I wish I could bank. I wish I could bank 4-0 Carolina right this second. Seriously, it just doesn't. I think last year I thought that they were honestly going to be a team that could make the cup and make a cup run. It didn't work out, but it still seems like that to me. This year, I really love their squad, and I really like the matchup that they have with Nashville, because I just don't think that Nashville can skate with these guys. Unfortunately, I think this Nashville team's kind of past where its expiration date was of the peak that it had and the chance that it had. So yeah, Carolina's a wagon, man. And I'm really excited at the thought of them. Potentially, we already saw last night Tampa going up 2-0, and the potential Carolina Tampa series, it could just be electric.
You're muted, Ty.
It's going to be insane. The fact that we get it in the second round is going to be crazier. That series, but they got to get past Florida first. Florida is still
that's true.
Very tough down there, but it's going to be big to overcome in that one. The Hurricanes just have so much speed, and they play such a dominating style where they'll get 30, 40 shots before you get 20. It's kind of insane the way that they're able to do that night in, night out. But that series is pretty much a wrap. But we have game 1 out of the playoffs in Canada. Winnipeg at Edmonton in this one. Edmonton minus 180 favorites, pretty decent favorites in this one. And it's rightly earned, because they're 7-2 against the Jets in the regular season. Connor McDavid averaged 2.44 points per game in those matchups. So when you're looking at this one, you're looking at the opportunity to finally see McDavid in a big playoff spot and against a team he does very well against, Dwayne.
Yeah, I'm excited. Who's not excited to watch Connor McDavid play playoff hockey?
You know
what I mean? It's just, it's a different type of hockey in the playoffs. We've seen it so far in the this first week. The aggression, the intensity, the energy, and just to see a guy who is so much of a wagon and is electric, Connor McDavid, you can't go wrong with that. It's must-watch hockey, and it sucks so much that during the regular season you got to deal with him being on the West Coast, that you have to stay up 12 hours of the night to watch him play. And I wish the NHL probably, if they could redo it, didn't want them to win the lot.
Even weirder, Dwayne, now that Canada has blackouts, regional blackouts now. So to see Connor McDavid, they were making you basically pay for a subscription just for that one channel for Edmonton games.
Insane, right? Insane.
Yeah, Dean about it.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, so when you look at the things McDavid did this year, over 100 points, then Draisaitl, I think 85 points, was second in the league, and you're going to be playing the Winnipeg Jets in this one. Jake, you think Winnipeg has any chance in this series or in this game?
Man, I mean, it would definitely be helpful if they were, they're not even healthy. That's part of the issue too. No Pierre-Luc Dubois tonight either to match up. No Eller. It's going to be tough for them regardless. Now, I'm along with it the same lines this series. I'm along the same lines as the Hurricane series. I just think that the Oilers have too much firepower for the Jets. I mean, it's really been all year in that North Division. It's been a 2-horse division. We've known that going in, and it's rung true. And that this Oilers team is just a wagon. And like you said, Dwayne, on my screens tonight, I'm gonna have Steph Curry and LeBron James, and then Connor McDavid on the other side. You can't really ask for a much better sports night, and I'm excited to see what he's ready to do in a playoff scenario, man. It's going to be great, and hopefully it's coming up and we get the series again. We'll talk about previewing forward, but really looking forward to a potential, Matthews McDavid in the second round, and see how those teams would fare in a playoff series against each other, because who knows when we'll ever even get the chance to see that again. So maybe I'm being a little biased and hoping that the Oilers can roll it over, but I really don't think this Jets team has it this year. And I just think, they're a byproduct of the division as much as anything else.
I forget who tweeted it out too. The company McDavid is in, when it came to I think points per game or per 60, something like that. It is in company with guys Lemieux. I mean, he's far off Gretzky, let's be real. But the company he's in, it's unprecedented. Granted, yes, that North Division was an absolute joke. It was. That division was a joke. But regardless, that was just so much fun to watch, man. It was just it was just it's now like it's like almost like watching LeBron against the rest of the league, or back in the day Jordan against the rest of the league. That's what it's like watching Connor McDavid. There's just nobody that measures up right now. Like nobody. There isn't a single guy in the league that measures up to his skill level right now.
No, it's not even close. He's the best player in the world by far. It's kind of getting to the point where, like, yeah, I understand why they were saying he's the best player since Wayne Gretzky. He is that player. And to be able to put up 105 points this season is absolutely incredible. And I cannot wait to finally get to watch him play in the playoffs here tonight. Going to be a very, very fun one. And the nightcap here, Dwayne, we got Al and Maniacs Avalanche. Huge favorites, minus 345 tonight against the St. Louis Blues. The Blues were able to keep that one somewhat close early on in that. But unfortunately, you saw the Avalanche put on an avalanche of offensive prowess, and we're able to take that one. And we have Maniac here, too, to talk about his Avalanche. Perfect timing. Maniac, you think the Blues have any chance? Are they going to win a game in this series?
Well, the news today, I mean, it sounds like Binnington might not be in. I haven't seen updates in the last half hour, but it seems like they're getting hit by some COVID troubles, and you don't want to see that. But let's face it, you got every team dealing with the same issues. It seems like the Blues are up a creek without a paddle. I can see them winning one game. I can definitely see them playing one game. They get back down 2-0. Maybe they do a little claws out, lash out, but this series is not going more than 5 games for sure. You got to like the start for the Avalanche, and kind of in that same area. It's been an interesting start for Al's Golden Knights he's got on the side, his side bay.
Whoa. Not everyone knows about that. You can't be putting his business out there.
Sorry about side bay. But no, we're pumped up. I heard Dwayne talking about a different brand of hockey when he gets the playoffs. I think we're seeing playoff McKinnon starting to peak. He had a couple of goals the other night. Yeah. I think it was 10 shots on goal or something for like one player to generate that kind of offense. It's insane.
Yeah, no, McKinnon is definitely a class above pretty much most. He's got to be in that like elite tier of top 5 to 10 players, no matter what position you're talking about. He's a guy who can carry them. And, even better than that was Gabriel Landeskog mixing it up, getting the Gordie Howe hat trick in game 1. Jake, isn't that what you'd love to see out of your captain in the playoffs?
You can't ask for anything else, man. You can't ask for Gabe to do anything else. Yeah, it wasn't even like, it's not even like, sometimes you get those Gordie Howe hat tricks, like, all right, there was like a tussle, like they skinned. No, Landeskog just beat the shit out of the guy.
Oh, dude, that was a classic like 1990s tilt, man. Like it was over the moment it started, but the thing is, people don't even realize that don't watch or pay attention to Avalanche hockey. Like I remember when Landeskog was drafted, I was like, I know the Sabres had no chance at drafting him, but like I was a huge Landeskog fan because he just
you loved him. Plain and simple. You really loved Landeskog and what you saw of him. And it's amazing. Seeing the Avalanche, the way they move the puck. I didn't mean to jump on your Landeskog point, but Ratinen, Landeskog. I mean, where's Kadri? I didn't even see Kadri game. It's a shame that these games are on so late because, like you guys said, Avalanche Blues was arguably a top 1 or 2 game of these first batch of games.
Yeah, and it's not even like they're just an offensive team. Like, they skate super well, but they play a very, physical two-way game. Like, you're going to see Kadri mix it up. You're going to see all of them get into some stuff. And, seeing Landeskog, like your captain, go out there and mix it up, being the leader of that's, it just drives the entire team to get behind you. And to see that early on here in this first series, for anyone who has, a future on the Avalanche, you have to be very excited with what you're seeing.
Yeah, before I just got like tongue-tied there. It was, that's always been his game, like that's why I was such a big fan of him in juniors is like, he's always like, we always think about like Zach Cassian. Everyone remembers that video of like Zach Cassian in juniors when the Sabres drafted him. That's who Gabriel Landeskog was. That's why I've always been a big Gabriel Landeskog fan. He was just, was always willing to drop the gloves to stand up for a teammate. He was just that guy. He was, he's a coach's dream, especially back if he played in that era, especially in this era. I mean, it's just kind of disappointing that you don't see that as often as you would like, especially if you're a fan of that type of brand, that brand of hockey. It is a shame, but to see that in the playoffs, I mean, unbelievable. It just brings so much excitement to the game. And, that's another reason why he wears the C in Colorado.
No, absolutely. And that's, when we talk about guys who are captains, who lead by example, like Landeskog is prime example of that. Like exactly what you want out of a hockey player and what, old school guys like, what new school guys like. He's just a hockey player through and through. And I think the Avalanche this year are going to be right there in the Stanley Cup. I don't think any team has the ability to knock them off. It's going to be interesting, to see them against Vegas or Minnesota. But you saw in the regular season, the Avalanche were able to get on top of this division for a reason. The Avalanche were my pick to win the Stanley Cup before the season. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think that's good there. But Maniac, any other value you liking tonight here? You weren't here on Degenerate Danger Zone. Anything else you're liking on the NHL slate? Because we got 3 other series going on.
Yeah, you got Capitals Bruins about to start. I mean, I thought they played a pretty even game too. For Capitals being plus 155. I mean, again, Bruins probably are the favorite, and they obviously are by the line. But I think you're getting good value with Capitals plus 155 in a rubber match there with the series at 1-1.
Yeah. Again, that game could always go. That game could go either way. Outside of just that, the Blues series. I mean, I'm really just indifferent with every single series so far that you've seen play. You've seen a lot of great back and forth hockey. Even in that Minnesota game, I know they lost. What was it being 3-1, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah. 3-1. But even then, it was a lot of back and forth until the very end. Like, you really haven't had a team that's just looked like the competition, the level of competition is so much further ahead than the other. It's just been back and forth, unbelievable hockey. And I said it yesterday, even the tight games, the low scoring games, like for instance, the game 1 with Fleury and Talbot, like every single save, every 5 minutes you were seeing a highlight reel save, and it was just awesome to watch. It was exciting. I've just loved every second of playoff hockey so far. I stayed up and watched all 3 games yesterday, even the late game, and I couldn't be more excited for today. I'm excited for tomorrow because Toronto and the Habs haven't played each other in the playoffs in I think like 30 or 40 years.
Yeah, I'm hearing those numbers from you, and I'm looking at this NHL schedule like, what the hell is Gary Bettman doing? We got regular season games last night, and then we have the Maple Leafs and the Canadiens haven't even started. Yep. What the shit is going on with this guy?
They just finished their season. They just finished their season like 10 minutes ago. I was was tweeting out the great fun season.
Tyler Myers scored a goal last night.
Yes, he did.
And no one was around to see it.
It was because the North Division getting backed up because of the COVID thing with the Canucks, right?
Yeah. What was it for points though? Why were they doing it? Why did they do it?
Probably stipulation with the draft lottery. Teams that were finished. That's probably what it was.
Yeah.
It's just very disappointing because when they came into the bubble, they were geniuses with the all-day slate. And I was watching all of these hockey games, and it was great because there was only one on at a time. I mean, I'm missing great games between, like, the Predators and the Hurricanes. I'm missing great games between the Lightning and the Panthers, even though Game 2 was kind of a dud. Game 1 was awesome. So I like it more when they're stacked out all day. I mean, I get it. You don't want to put a playoff game on at 1 p.m. for ratings, but – I mean, I don't know. The NHL, I feel like, has just bumbled this scheduling scenario. Like, again, tomorrow, the Maple Leafs and Canadiens are coming out of nowhere. I'm excited for the matchup, but these other games are playing their game 3s.
Yeah.
It's wild, right?
Minnesota wild.
And I honestly, like, I hate saying this, but I think that Toronto-Montreal series is the one I've been most excited for.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah. Because those are 2 franchises and 2 fan bases that hate each other.
And they're both paranoid that they're going to lose.
Yeah, and it does suck because like the fans aren't going to be in the building, obviously. But those teams are going to literally go grind nose to nose. You're going to see a lot of physical play, a lot of offensive highlight reel goals. It's just going to be fun hockey to watch, and I'm excited. I was texting with Steve Dangle last week, and I asked for permission on this. Am I allowed to be a Jack Campbell fan without being a Leafs fan? because that story with that guy is unbelievable. What it took for him to get here to this point. He finished the season, what was it, 16-2-2 or something obnoxious like that? That's insane. That's insane. Granted, again, the North Division was garbage, but still, those are insane numbers. Just like Austin Matthews finishing the season, 41 goals? Insane in 56 games. McDavid.
He was kind of like a Marty Baron the year the Sabres won the President's Trophy. Marty didn't have that many starts, and he was just coming in so fresh. The team was scoring so much. I mean, there were arguments that year whether like somehow Baron should be playing, even though Miller was obviously best goalie in the league and best goalie in the country.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. I think Baron actually holds I think he's either holds it or he's tied for like the single season longest shutout streak record or something like that. Something obnoxious like that. Yeah. Pretty sure he's up there if no one's beaten it since, but he's either has it or he's tied for it. Like
no one's beaten it since, huh?
I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Perfect way to describe the late 90s Sabres hockey. And speaking of film, Jake, is it about that time?
It is. It is about that time. So we'll be wrapping up here. We'll be coming back around with the Happy Hour Hoops pregame show. Dueno, thank you. Maniac, we'll see you in a minute. Let it roll.
Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Happy Hour Hoops portion of the Trainwreck Playoff Happy Hour. It is Jake Micah, as always. To my left, my right, whatever position we're looking at here, Maniac. We got Dunny. We've got some guy named Steve, and we got Slick L. How are we doing tonight, guys? How are we feeling about the NBA playoffs tonight? Good?
Feeling great. Feeling great. We got another 2 fantastic games here. You know, of course, we have the more exciting matchup towards the end, kind of like we had last night. And then I'm hoping for this early game to be nothing like the Hornets and Pacers game last night, because we don't want another blowout. We want a tight game. We want an exciting game. And maybe we'll get that from San Antonio and Memphis.
I have a little more hope for San Antonio and Memphis than that god-awful Charlotte Hornets game last night. Oh, my God. All right. So before we get into the play-ins here, we're going to go Maniac. We're going to start with you here. I just want to get a feel for you guys as we go into it. We got a little bit of time here before the game starts at 7:30. Maniac, how are you feeling about just the field as a whole besides these playing games? I mean, obviously there's some potential impact teams in these playing games. Celtics looked good last night. The Lakers, still one of the favorites in the title. So how are you feeling about the field as a whole and some of the series that you like or don't like?
I feel like it's strong. I think you got a couple of favorites. It's top heavy there, Lakers, Clippers, and a couple others. But you still have your dark horses. I mean, I feel like the Heat are kind of getting disrespected with this line in the opening Bucks series. I mean, we all know that Jimmy Butler has basically not played against the Bucks this year after the success they had against them last year. So Jimmy Butler coming off the bench, coming off the unknown, not having played them in a year, that's always a factor. Besides that, you got your dark horses, and it's hilarious. I mean, having the Lakers Warriors in a play-in, the Silver Snakes are all high-fiving right now. That is a dream matchup for the words up. And I guess I'm only picking up on it for the first time now, but clearly they're like trying to copy like the NCAA play-in, like that vibe where you have a couple intimate games, you get to profile the players a little bit better. But yeah, this is going to be some insane matchups. Obviously, it was crazy seeing Dunny's boy Tatum drop 50 yesterday. I think we have a number of players that could drop 50 in these matchups tonight, so it's very exciting. I feel like I'm Brand the Broken. I got just a great crew here. It's great. Everything's rocking and rolling. And yeah, I can't wait for these NBA playoffs to get started. It's just as much of a grind as the NHL playoffs schedule-wise, seeing as there's 8 teams and you're going for those rounds. Obviously the hitting is not there, but the perseverance and the tenacity is. I mean, you saw what happened with the Clippers last year. Clearly, in my opinion, they're looking to overcome that and make a run this year. But I won't talk anymore, but super excited.
Hey, the league's biggest Bucks fan here, guys. By the way,
Get the fuck out of here.
Can my Bucks make it? No, all right.
No, I'm just
Such a big Bucks fan,
Big Bucks fan, guys.
But I was gonna ask you just for the playing games. If you saw someone dropping 50 tonight, who you got? Curry?
Yeah,
that's
Curry for sure.
Could LeBron drop 50?
No, LeBron's not dropping 50.
AD could drop 50.
AD could drop 50.
Well,
I don't think he will.
Who's more likely to do?
I'd take Curry over AD any day.
Yeah, I'd still take Curry.
The one bet I saw on FanDuel, that one of the special bets that popped up was Curry points, rebounds, and assists, or LeBron points, rebounds, and assists. You pick one against the other.
Tough.
I might go Braun there. Just
go with Braun too, I think.
Yeah.
I just feel like no matter what, Braun could win, obviously, like any line. But Curry's the more fun side to have it because even if like they're dominating, like if the Warriors are down 15, you got them exactly where you want them for Curry.
That's true. That's true. And the thing about Steph with this game though is that their roster is so undermanned compared to this Lakers roster that he could go for like 50, 60 and they could still lose by like 15 points. Like I really wouldn't be surprised.
I think that's the only way they stay in the game is if Curry scores like 40 plus. It's the only way you're going to stay in. They're not going to do anything down low against Davis and Drummond. It's just, I think you have
with
to
what
take
Kevon
Curry
and Looney, like,
yeah,
come on,
exactly.
He's all right on defense, but he can't. There's no way he's shutting down AD or Drummond, and the Lakers like to do that too big on the floor at some points, and that's just scary going up against opposing teams.
But yeah, that's the thing is that we really haven't. I mean, we've seen one game, Dunny, of Drummond and AD and LeBron on the floor together. Like, we really don't even know what the hell this team can do, like, at full strength yet.
Yeah.
That's just like you guys touched on. It's just so much size for an undermanned Warriors team. I mean, I put it in my notes here. It's just kind of insane that the Warriors are even in this position, given that, you know, they have no Kelly Oubre. They lost James Wiseman for the year. Obviously, no Thompson the entire year. And now you have a core of Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins. And I heard Slick L touch on this earlier during the Degenerate Danger Zone, that Wiggins is going to need to have one of those games where, you know, he's can be a reliable go-to guy for them, because without that tonight, they really are just shit out of luck. Because Curry, I mean, he's going to have a big game regardless. He can't do it all himself.
I'm actually, you know, I'm not a big basketball guy, but I've been watching a lot of Russell Westbrook. I won't lie. And he's having like a really unprecedented year for the Wizards. And I've always, like, again, as not a huge basketball fan, like, I do, like, outside of obviously the obvious teams of the Patriots and the Bruins, I'm obviously, like, I'm a big Red Sox fan. So because of that, I'll watch the Celtics every now and then. So, like, I am going to kind of pay attention to the Wizards and Celtics playing, and I'm just excited to watch Russell Westbrook and what that guy's doing. He's just been an unbelievable player to watch this season. Am I off? Am I off on something?
A little bit.
Mike is popping off right now.
Yeah, just you. I mean, you might need to. It's you can find it on YouTube or something at least.
DVR.
Of course. Like that. Hey, all right. Let's have a little fun. I'm gonna hijack the show for a minute. Let's have a little fun. What do you guys have as Steph Curry's over-under on points tonight? I'm looking at it right now from Seneca Buffalo Creek. Let's go around the horn, starting with Micah to Dwayne. What do you got?
We're just guessing the number?
His over-under, yeah. So, like, remember, what
I've
was
cheated because
Lillard?
I've already seen it.
Okay, then you're out. What was Damian Lillard last year when they were playing those games? He was, like, in the low 30s, right?
I was going to say 33.5. That's what I was going to put it at.
All right, some guy?
35.5.
Donnie?
32.5.
Dwayne?
33.5. I'll go right in the middle there.
Stevie, the closest. Steph Curry with an over-under of 36.5 tonight. So obviously, I mean, that's insane. That is just insane. So speaking of insanity, if Slickel knows it, we'll skip him again here. But who do you have with the higher over-under for points tonight, AD or LeBron, via Seneca Buffalo Creek? Which player has a higher over-under for their points tonight? So let's go around the horn again. Let's start with Dwayne, though, this time. Let's go in reverse order. Higher over-under point total, Anthony Davis or LeBron James?
I like Anthony Davis.
Dunny?
I'm going AD as well. I feel like LeBron sounds too easy.
I'm leaning AD. LeBron's he's passing now. AD, he'll dominate inside tonight.
It has to be AD.
I'm going LeBron just because everybody else
go.
is so sure. AD,
Micah plays the anti-card. First off, these over-unders respectively, 26.5, 25.5. So we're not talking very much, folks, but they are expecting LBJ in a big game to just have that little extra sauce. They have him at 26.5 and AD at 25.5. And there's the advantage. You got Steph Curry at 36.5, but there's not another player on the Warriors with an over-under above 21. So you're just not seeing it there. It's obviously going to be a team effort for the Lakers tonight.
Yeah, man. And so let's get into it with that game because I think Grizzlies Spurs, just in general, I feel like we really aren't good. It's kind of the same as we were talking about last night with that Hornets Pacers matchup where it's just so much like Slicko, you said it perfectly about that game last night. Like it's so unknown. Like that's why the line's going to be close. Like you could tell me either thing. And especially like, I guess the most interesting thing about the Grizzlies and Spurs that they've played in the playoffs so many times. Memphis has played the Spurs the most in the playoffs. Since their inception, San Antonio was 18-6 against Memphis though in their playoff history. So it's just we'll see. Like these teams were pretty close out throughout the whole year. Pretty good matchups throughout the season. So I don't know how you feeling, Dunny. Like, do you think it's just going to be the Josh show tonight? Like I can't afford to see this man lose another play, and I think he's going to be upset.
Yeah, this is it kind of just goes to who's motivated more. And I was gonna bring up Ja when you guys said most likely to drop 50 tonight. I feel like he could be a dark horse in that conversation. I don't know. What's that, Sicko?
No, I was just agreeing with you. Go on.
No, yeah, I don't know, if he'll crack that 50 number for sure, but I mean, he's a guy that you got to just assume he's going to be going all out. You mentioned, Jake, that he was in this situation last year. I'm leaning to believe that a lot of the Grizzlies' motivation should come from their last regular season game, kind of taking a beating from the Warriors and Steph Curry there. I thought Ja seemed kind of all too comfortable with that loss. He took to Twitter after and he said Curry's the clear-cut MVP after just getting spanked by him. I thought that was a little weird, especially for, kind of the way Ja carries himself. He's this high-intensity guy. I thought he would use that loss as motivation and be kind of pissed off. So we'll see, here tonight against the Spurs. But to me, like bare bones, just looking at this matchup, it's kind of, coaching experience from the Spurs and like some hungry veterans against just these young guns who want to get out of this play-in, kind of area. That's where they've been stuck the last two seasons, and they're ready and think they're legit enough to make a playoff push.
Yeah, Stevie, how you feeling about this game? Like just about the same?
That's kind of where I'm going with what Donnie said. I'm leaning on experience here in Greg Popovich. I like this Grizzlies team. I think Jaren Jackson coming back has made them night and day difference. But I'm going with experience here. Greg Popovich, he just coaches his teams up come playoffs, and they have the experience. The Grizzlies, kind of similar to the Hornets, another young team that doesn't really have the experience. And you're looking at the Spurs. Their fewest turnovers in the NBA. That's the big key to me. They're not going to make the mistakes. They're not going to put themselves in a bad spot. So if the Grizzlies want to beat them, they got to beat them. The Spurs aren't going to beat themselves tonight. And from a betting perspective, I like taking the points with the Spurs, but I think they can win this game outright. I really do.
Yeah, and that's how I was feeling about betting-wise, especially that line -4 right now sitting there at Memphis. I'm very skeptical because I was like, all these games are going to be good. All of them are close. And last night they both ended up pretty big blowouts for both sides. But like you said, that Spurs, like with the Spurs, the institution, like just what's there, like it's going to be really hard to see them, go down like in a blaze. Like it's going to be a hard fought game. But yeah, so I think it's going to be a good one. I'm really intrigued to see, how the Spurs kind of try to match up with Ja and Triple J in this matchup. But let's not wait any further. Let's get into the one that we've been waiting for all week, all year. I mean, all year, I guess. Like I couldn't even if you would have told when we found out about the play-in Slicko a year ago, I could not have dreamt up a potential Lakers Warriors play-in 7-8 matchup in Staples with fans, mind you. How are you feeling going into this right now? Lakers are the favorites as of right now, -5.5, line climbing up a little bit. What are you thinking?
Yeah, the fact that either of these teams are even in the play-in tournament is just mind-boggling as an NBA fan. Like, especially what we knew the Warriors were dealing with coming in. But I give all credit to them. They've gone against every rut in the road and kept at it. And Steph Curry, I said this on DDZ, I think if he has a big game here tonight and leads them to a victory, he's an MVP, no decision whatsoever, in my opinion. But
I think I heard the word unanimous used.
Unanimous.
He did say that.
I did say that. Yeah, quote me.
Meerkat's
I don't
pissed
care.
right now.
Care.
He's hearing that. His ears are ringing.
That's fine. Let him talk. But honestly, man, I just don't see it happening. The spread is 5.5. I like the Warriors making it close. I think Curry's very capable of that. And like Donnie pointed out that I said, I think A. Wiggins needs to show up because without Oubre, there's not really another shooting presence. Right. I mean, Jordan Poole had 30 the other night, but are you going to rely on a guy like Jordan Poole, his second-year player? Like,
a lot of those were layups too.
Yeah, exactly. And like it was kind of garbage time as well. But I think the Lakers just flood. Like they have too much size, as we pointed out, and they have too much star power. I just don't see the Warriors getting this done tonight.
Yeah, how you feeling, Dunny, on this matchup?
Yeah, it's just like you were touching on. It's kind of crazy that we have this as a 7-8, and the play-in tournament apparently is going to be something that is permanent going forward. And I think 5-10 years down the road, if we keep doing this play-in and it stays, this first year might be the most star power we ever see on both sides in the 7 and 8 matchups. Because in the Eastern Conference last night, we had Tatum, Beal, Westbrook, Kemba Walker. Then you're missing Jaylen Brown in that game. And then the 7-8 in the Western Conference, you have obviously Steph, LeBron, AD, Drummond, and then guys like Thompson sitting out for the Warriors. So it's pretty crazy. I think it's, the Adam Silver is probably jumping with joy that the first year they implement this play-in tournament for good, he has all these star-studded matchups right off the bat. So at the very least, this is just going to be a great game for television. We kind of touched on that. This could have more views than a potential finals game if the matchup's not that great. But yeah, I'm kind of with Slicko there. I don't know if I see the Warriors winning this, but plus 5.5, I could definitely see them covering the spread for sure. It's just going to take so much from the Warriors to win this game. It's really the Lakers' game to lose. Like they should be able to control the pace. They should be able to dominate with whatever lineup they have out there, whether it's Drummond or Davis going off or LeBron from the word go. This is their game to lose. Bron should be prepared enough to have his hands all over this game. He's coming off an injury, but had some time to sit out and rest up. This just seems like a perfect recipe for the Lakers to just get out of the play-in tournament and then focus on, a real playoff round.
So question. So obviously somebody who's not as educated as you guys, with the play-in round, you're still getting the same amount of playoff rounds after the play-in as you normally would before this play-in thing. So you're just getting more basketball, more playoff.
Yeah, but
that's good. That's good for basketball, right? I mean, that's unbelievable, and that's something they should keep, in my opinion. If you're giving me more like playoff atmosphere basketball, even if it's just a playing round, like Donnie said, that has to be a must-stay part of the game from here on out. I mean, if you're going to have that many people watching this type of a matchup tonight, I mean, you'd be stupid to get rid of it after this season, in my opinion. And then, if just correct me, if whoever wins tonight plays the Suns.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
7 seed.
The only reason it's a sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying the Suns are going to be the only real losers of tonight.
Yes,
they're the only true losers of tonight.
True.
Dude, the only reason it's controversial at all, Dwayne, everybody was all for it, and then like 2 to 3 weeks ago, LeBron looked at the standings. He put away Twitter and he looked at the standings and he saw that the Lakers were likely going to be in this game. So he started the narrative that this was like kind of silly and that this wasn't like smart. And so let's face it, if you're a player in the association, Are you gonna go against the king?
Nope.
Are you gonna be like, oh, I don't agree with what the king is saying? Like, no, you're not. So that's the only reason this is a controversial issue at all with this plan is the fact that LeBron started the narrative a couple weeks ago when he realized that the Lakers were going to be in this game.
You mean there's some kind of controversy surrounding LeBron James?
What?
No way.
Hey.
I love LeBron James. I mean, I think he's one of the best things that's happened to basketball in a long time. And just watching him play, like I would pay top dollar. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but if I had the opportunity to see LeBron James play, I would pay top dollar to see him. And he's great for the game still at this age. And again, like you said, you can't really go against what LeBron James says. But as a fan, I'd imagine NBA fans would say, screw off, man. This is awesome. I want to.
Fans are gonna love this. This is going to be great. And Silver right now, like we said, is just like rubbing his hands, like
he's Mr.
This could not have worked out any better.
You think you look at the NHL play-ins last year? That was awesome. Nobody would have thought that the way the NHL did the play-in tournament and then the playoffs, like you couldn't have asked for, and not even just the NHL, but any sports franchise to do it as well as they did, and the presentation of it all, even without fans, how well it was done and how well it went off, like without a hitch. Like it was awesome. You got so much more hockey that mattered, even though it wasn't technically playoff hockey, but it mattered and it had that same type of feel, at least from the on ice product. I'd imagine you'll get the same type of feel here tonight with these playing games. For sure.
Stevie, in that kind of big game atmosphere, one game, that's not win or go home for this Warriors-Lakers game, but who would you rather have in this scenario? Would you rather have a Steph Curry on your side, or would you rather have a LeBron James? It's the question of the day so far.
Mean, in my opinion, I'm probably still leaning towards, LeBron, just because when LeBron James wants to do something or he has the will, he's going to do it. And Ty B kind of touched on it earlier with LeBron James is like, you know what, maybe he's playing into the narrative. He wants to be the first player ever to win, that extra game, that extra playing game, go from the Cinderella playing team, although no one's really considering the Lakers that type of team. They're going to be favored against the Bucks if they get there. But just LeBron to, win that game and take them all the way to the finals, it just kind of seems like that's how the storybooks are writing right now for LeBron to do that. And as much as I really don't want to see that, it would be great for the NBA.
Definitely the narrative they're creating, but we all know they're the favorites in the West. You don't have to look at the odds to know.
Yeah, it's the facts. If that team if they're healthy, they're the favorites.
Yeah. And the thing too, even if the Warriors lose tonight and then say they beat the winner of the Grizzlies Spurs, Jazz and the Suns, the 1 and 2 seeds. Great job. You had a good season. You're playing Steph Curry or LeBron James.
Which is very possible, by the way, that the Warriors lose tonight and then win that extra play-in game.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
I think they'd be favored against either of these teams coming up.
I agree.
I will say, though, I think we've all touched on it a little bit. I think we've seen some public line reaction after those blowouts from last night, Jake.
Yeah.
So obviously then tonight, I think the lines were pretty similar to last night's, but now you got the Grizzlies at -4.5 and the Lakers at -5.5. Mark my words, the Warriors will have the ball in the last minute with the game within one possession. I mark my words on that one.
I agree.
I love that. All right, so I was going to go around. We got Slick and Maniac. They're going to take the Warriors cover then. So Stevie, you're taking the Warriors cover as well?
Yeah, I'm going to take it. I don't love doing it, but I don't want to lay 5.5 against Curry ever.
Exactly. It is the most terrifying thing. Dunny, how you feeling about this?
I like both the dogs on the spread tonight. I like the Spurs +4 and the Warriors +5.5.
Dognovan Holden.
Oh, there it is. So last night, both dogs got absolutely rocked.
Yeah. Perfect night to bet them.
It is perfect night to bet them. It is. It really is. I can't do it. I'm going with LeBron James. I will die on the sword if I have to. Here. Whatever. Fuck it. I just want to. And whatever happens in this series, we're talking about the Lakers being favorites. LeBron James has not lost a conference playoff series since 2010 either. So that the Suns, as we said, the Suns are the real loser of this game tonight. Yeah, it could get ugly there for that. I'm riding with the Lakers. I think I think the theory I love is that Steph's going to put on a performance, maybe like 48 points, something like that, and they're still going to lose by like 12 because it's just going to be just too much. Really interested to see this Lakers lineup fully healthy in a game that matters. Really interested. But yeah, so that'll do it for us here. This for the Trainwreck playoff happy hour today. Thank you all for joining into DDZ for Two Goalies, One Mic and Happy Hour Hoops. For Dwayne, for Maniac, for Dunny, for some guy named Steve, and for Slick L. We will be back later this week with some more playoff talk. Folks, enjoy the games. Have a great night.
Bet the Clippers.